What's up, nerds? Tony over here, Jerry over there. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our WandaVision series finale breakdown. If you missed part 1, link is in the comments. We basically ran down the show and in a recap sort of way and gave our general breakdown of how we felt the show was. This video is the culmination of 2 months of us spitballing and just pulling nonsense out of our minds that we thought would be on the show. FYI, in case you didn't already know it by clicking on a video whose title includes the word spoilers, there's going to be spoilers. I mean, the costume over there, I got a friggin' scroll behind. I mean, come on. Anyway, it wasn't this scroll that was in the show, but it was a scroll.
It could have been.
It could have been. They were shapeshifters. Who the hell knows? All right. So we already did the recap. We don't need to go over the events of the show in chronological order. We're just going to kind of talk about things we wanted to happen that didn't happen and things that did happen that are going to catapult us into the next parts of the MCU. Jerry, how you doing, you handsome devil? Black Superman over here, everybody.
Black Superman and White Vision.
Those are our rap names. If this 9 to 5 thing doesn't work out, could be a rapper.
Is that a bird? Is that a plane? No, that's just Black Superman.
Yep. Just like White Vision, I'm underwhelming and I'm out in 10 minutes. Anyway.
10 minutes.
It's
10 minutes.
Well, I mean, you got to put your shoes back on. Anyway, you're like, you take them off? All right, Jerry, what is the one thing that you hoped beyond hope to see in this show that we didn't get? What did they not deliver that we cooked up in our nerd brains? What did they not give you that you needed?
Number 1 is Magneto or Professor X.
Yep.
I had it in my head. I thought the perfect way to introduce him, if they didn't even want to show him or even recast him, but you know who it was just an end credit scene where Scarlet Witch had been arrested. She's inside of a cell, and then you just see the cell bars just spread apart.
Perfect.
Have a collar on her, you know, like one of those, like how she had in, I want to say it was Civil War, where it was like that, you know, power dampening thing. And just you see the power, the bars spread apart, and you see a man's back with the fedora on. You already know who it is. And you're just like, boom.
Yep. Or you see like, like you see the back of the fedora head, and then it pans down, and you see a bald head in a wheelchair, and that's all you get. Yeah, I was hoping for one of those guys too. For me, the one big miss was the opportunity to introduce a top tier, high quality character as the Man on the Ridge. I felt like we were really hoodwinked by having this Major Goodner be her contact. Who the shit is Major Goodner?
Someone who's done really good job at, you know, promoting.
I guess, right? I don't know. I really, really, really thought that they were going to give us some kind of a reveal, even if we didn't get like any more information about the person. You know, there were leaks.
Yeah.
In the weeks leading up to the finale, and they all but promised that we were going to see Professor X and or Magneto, and they all but promised that we were going to see Blue Marvel.
Yeah.
And we got none of that. People love to troll people on the internet. Like Paul Bettany.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he wasn't lying when he said somebody he hoped he would work with again or one day, you know what I mean? It's just, it was a play on words, and I guess didn't go well. And then he was just like, oh man.
Please don't kill me.
Yeah. The fans are going to kill me. I think that, you know, like I said last night, you can't be disappointed in the script that you wrote yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like nobody, like it was a flippant comment made by her in passing. Like, I know an engineer. Like she probably does know an engineer. She's been
probably a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's an astronaut. You know what I mean? It's like, I know somebody who works at a newspaper.
Right. Doesn't mean it's J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like everybody knows somebody.
It's true. It's true. And, speaking of going back to the Paul Bettany comment, he said, "Oh, I'm working with someone I've always wanted to work with. I'm so excited to be working with this person." He was talking about himself.
Yeah.
And I understand that was a jokey comment and like people just took it and ran with it. The one that kind of I was disappointed with was Elizabeth Olsen saying that there was a Luke Skywalker, spoilers if you haven't seen The Mandalorian, a Luke Skywalker level cameo that she couldn't wait to see people's reactions. And it was Pietro.
No, see, I think that's not what the case was. I think that what actually happened was a reporter said, are we going to get a Luke Skywalker like inclusion into WandaVision? And she just said yes. That everybody else went ahead and said, we're getting Mephisto. And then we went and they pointed out water fountains and cars and bunnies and this and that and this and that. And and that's the whole point and the fun of these shows is this idea that we can literally look at bank and be like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Like read that sign. What does that mean? What does it mean on the movie theater? That says fantastic or what's called The Incredibles. That's all intertwined. No, it's just like, they're playing with you. They're having fun with you. You're supposed to be having a good time with it.
Yeah. Which we did.
I had a great time with the show. Was there things that personally I think that they should have done? Absolutely. I think that it's a missed opportunity. But I also think that in their mind, I think they're building up her character to be one of the lead characters of the franchise going forward.
Absolutely.
And she's had the least amount of screen time of all the characters. So you needed a series that we can get all the backstory out of the way so that we can continue forward where we don't have to keep revisiting this stuff.
I mean, honestly, if you look at the makeup of the original Avengers group, who else is there to be this kind of lead, powerful character? Captain Marvel, but she's going to be in space a lot because they have the Superman problem with her. She's OP. Of course, now Wanda might be too, but Captain America can't lead the team. He's old, maybe dead, depending on what we see on Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. We know Tony Stark's gone. They don't seem keen on going forward with Mark Ruffalo and Hulk being like a lead player. Thor's got his own business going on, right? So you're kind of, and I think Black Panther was kind of supposed to be that role. And then unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman passed away. And now what? Yeah. Who do we have? And I think pushing Wanda as this, they're raising her up the ranks here very significantly. Yeah. Like she's a world breaker. And I think they did a really good job of showing like she is extremely powerful and she's going to be like the go-to kind of person, Yeah. And when you think about it, between her and Captain Marvel, I mean, they can pretty much handle like most threats at this point, I think.
Yeah. That's, and not to mention the fact that, we know that we're going to be getting the inclusion of the Fantastic Four coming soon and the X-Men and everything else. You want to have somebody powerful on the Avengers too, because if something was to go down, you need to have somebody the same level. So I wasn't disappointed at all. I think the only thing that personally I would consider to be a slight disappointment is the idea of the Pietro cameo. I still think very, very strongly that it is Quicksilver, and I'm going to break it down for this reason. We've heard from the very beginning from Wu that they had a person in protective custody or like
witness protection
inside the town, right? Agatha made it a point to say, I didn't bring him here. I'm just the eyes and the ears, which means she didn't give him any powers or make him run faster or anything else.
Right.
And if you noticed, when Wanda changed these people into Westview people, all she did was enhance what she saw of you when she first met you. She sees that delivery driver guy, and he's sitting there, he was, I want to say delivering pizzas. Now he's, FedEx and everything else that you can think of. All she did was just, push you just a little bit further in the story. She didn't change anything about your backstory. So I think that really is him. And I think that's the reason why they left it so open-ended at the very end. Like maybe there's something suppressing him that he doesn't even know who he is. And so, and that I would not be surprised that if we really are getting a, X-Men's movie coming up, like it's been talk of, that Quicksilver doesn't end up with, because he's a likable character, his own Disney Plus TV series that also introduces him more into the whole, rewriting a little bit of a history within the MCU and kind of forgetting that Fox portion of it.
See, I see the way that they left him. The last that we saw of him was just Monica pulling off that necklace that Agatha was using to control him. Yeah. And he says, "Spare my life." Yeah. And that's the last we see of him. We don't know. We don't get to see anything beyond that. We don't see what happens to the character. So it's possible that you're right. It's possible that he's going to actually be Quicksilver. If he is Wu's person in witness protection, that's the perfect seed of that series that we've all been kind of standing for with Darcy and Wu, kind of an Agents of Atlas sort of spinoff, which also, we didn't get Blue Marvel, but Wu and Blue Marvel work together very closely in the comics in the 3 X's. Maybe that's where we're going to get Blue Marvel too. I don't know.
I mean, that's why I think, people could be disappointed because they were hoping for Professor X, or you're hoping for this, they're hoping for that. People did like Darcy to a point. They kind of found her to be very annoying in the Thor films, right? They gave her a real redemption story in this movie, or in this TV series.
Right.
And the same thing went with Wu. He was a character that people enjoyed like right away in Ant-Man.
Right.
But like they really enjoy him now. Like you're getting character development. Maybe it's not like, these big name people we want, but I think people are going to be disappointed in the idea. They're like, well, Wiccan and Speed, they were introduced in this show and they would have been the first mutants in MCU. No, Wanda.
Right.
Was the first mutant. They went ahead and explained that to you.
Right.
You do have mutants in the MCU.
She's had her powers since birth.
Yeah. So you have, and it's usually the same thing that happens in any buddy who is a fan of an X-Men related title. You find out our mutant related title that the way that their powers are introduced is by a traumatic event awakens it in them. Having your family blown through your kitchen, it's kind of a good reason to go ahead and pop some powers in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And as we saw in the post credit scene, the kids are out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Billy's in the comic. If you're not familiar with Billy, he becomes the hero called Wiccan, also Asgardian, member of the Young Avengers, and he has similar powers to his mom. And it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to, preserve him and his brother as this bubble is kind of closing down around them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have no doubt with the recast of Cassie Lang for the upcoming Ant-Man film, with Kate Bishop showing up on Hawkeye, and with these two being around. And then there's been a lot of chatter that we're going to hear the the Isaiah Bradley story, who is Black Captain America, the first super soldier prior to Steve Rogers. And his grandson becomes Patriot. And those are the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have no doubt that the kids are coming back. And I have no doubt that they're going to make them, great characters and be, faithful to their powers from the comics. I think we're going to get them back, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think that what it comes down to is this. It is a little bit. They did pay a little bit of fanfare. The idea that a lot of fans wanted for every movie or TV show that comes out now. From the time that Fox was purchased to now, they wanted them to introduce one mutant basically, so that we start getting ourselves like accustomed to the idea of these mutants are around. We got one. You know what I mean? Maybe it was one you already knew, but we also were all disappointed when they introduced these kids in Age of Ultron, and we made up this idea that they were somehow created by the Mind Stone. Well, that's all gone now.
Yeah.
So we know that for a fact that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be taking place in Madripoor. That is surrounded by people who are mutants that can be introduced in that show. Mm-hmm. So there's a good chance that we can be, every Disney Plus series could be introducing somebody. A lot of talk around town, not my town, but Hollywood, I'm guessing, is that one of the big bad, or two of the big bads in Captain Marvel 2 is going to be Rogue and Mystique. So I think that there's a good chance that, like, I'm not disappointed at all. I felt like the show really did a good job of wrapping everything up. There are definitely big plot holes, but I don't know if they were ever meant to be plot holes. Was the beekeeper actually a plot hole, or just one of the agents coming through and she was like, "Nah, I'm not having it." It wasn't meant for us to know what she did with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there.
I wish we would have seen that.
Yeah, I wish, to be completely honest, I wish that Dottie had a better story.
Yeah,
I think
that was when Dottie kind of snapped out of it, you know, and was like, "My name is Sarah and I have a daughter." I was like, "Oh, Jerry's gonna be mad."
Yeah.
No special story for Dottie.
No, and I think that's a failure. You know, if you use, and I get that, you know, like, she's not like a huge actress, but especially around like nerdom kind of idea, you know, the nerdosphere, she's known. You know what I mean? Like, people like her. They love where her work has been in these sci-fi kind of things. Throw a girl a bone and give her a actual spot in the MCU. I think people would have enjoyed it. There's, you know, I like the idea that, and I guess maybe there's a chance that you still will see her. We know that Agatha is staying in Westview.
Yes.
I don't know if these tormented people are planning on staying, or are they plan on staying if they can just sell the house. I mean,
yeah. It might be a good time to call U-Haul.
Yeah, your daughter's been locked up in a room for 9 days. Has she ate? That's all I can think of when she said it. I was like, who's feeding her?
Yeah. I mean, we know what happens to a hamster if you don't feed it for 9 days. That is a human child. Well, a lot of the chatter around that character was around Dottie was that she was actually, and I don't know why this was on people's minds, but it was everywhere, that she was actually Arcana from the Squadron Supreme, who is a magician or a witch of some kind. She's a magic wielder. Hey, who knows? Maybe Agatha will take her on as a bit of an apprentice and teach her some magical stuff. And I'm already setting myself up for further disappointment.
Yeah. Well, I think we got good things. Like, Catherine Hahn was amazing in this series. You know what I mean? I think that we get a White Vision now. I think a lot of people really wanted to see that happen, you know, from the comics. Yep. We saw Wiccan and Speed. We don't know if we'll see them again. We all assume we're going to. And like you said, if you know the comics, you know that when they were killed by Mephisto in the comics, Billy, before, I always get them wrong. Which one has the powers?
Billy is like Wanda.
Okay. So Billy basically makes it so that he figures out a way to save them both so that they can be called back later on. Yeah. So we know there's a chance that they can be called back. We saw the Darkhold, which is something that people have been saying that they've been wanting to see forever. So you got to see it. You guys see that she's reading it. Yep. How she's reading it, I don't know. I'm guessing that you write that stuff in some kind of like evil gibberish, but I mean, hey, whatever.
She speaks evil gibberish.
Guess so. She learned how to do ruins on the wall, and I don't know how she picked that up.
It
takes me to rewind this show 16 times so I can go ahead and back and Google to see whether or not it means anything. You picked up how to do ruins on a wall?
You learned from Duolingo?
I learned from watching you, all right?
Oh my God, we're so old. All right. I want to know where we're going from this. Let's go based on what we know, what we know for sure. Starting with Hex Vision. Hex Vision is gone. He was evaporated. White Vision had his memories were awakened. He took off. He'll probably be back. One would assume, right?
Basically, Hex Vision gave White Vision the same touch he gives everybody else in the town. He awoken him.
Yes.
He's woke.
He is woke.
He's very White Vision woke.
So Agatha, we know, is going to be stuck in the town.
Where she's going to live, nobody knows.
Right. We last saw Wu just kind of like directing traffic. We have to assume he's going to probably get some kind of bigger and better job. And I'm sure we'll see him again in Ant-Man or somewhere else.
I'm hoping he's in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, personally.
That would be great. I
like the new Sam Jackson who kind of floats around, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's a federal agent, and all these people are going to be working within, you know, either with government agencies or in defiance of government agencies. So
and every show he goes, he should have a new magic trick.
Yeah.
Like he goes over there, he just has that sparky hand.
He should go on Falcon and Winter Soldier pulling a rabbit out of his hat, and it's Senor Scratchy.
Yeah.
It's Mephisto. So we know Monica is going to space to go do scroll things. right?
Yeah.
I would assume she's going to play a big part in Captain Marvel too, especially if the rumors are true and we get the whole like Rogue stealing powers from her and putting her in a coma sort of storyline. If that goes somewhere, Monica would probably be an ideal candidate to sort of help keep things on the straight and narrow.
Yep.
Also, we know that the events of WandaVision tie directly into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So we saw her Doctor Stranging there at the end with the book, and we'll probably get the continuation of her chasing down her kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing is that
in Doctor Strange.
Her trying to retrieve her children, I'm guessing, is going to do something that messes up the multiverse.
Yeah.
If they don't, you know what? If he is not the real Pietro, I hope they bring back the original Pietro from the MCU. Like you still need to have a Quicksilver. Like Quicksilver is a character that is alive.
Yeah, he's full of bullet holes somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't know where you're going with that, but then he has a storyline that's attached to a lot of characters, also. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't see how they cannot not somehow resurrect him.
I would like to see Evan Peters' version of Quicksilver become the canon new Quicksilver. I think there's a lot of meaty content that they can go with there. Talking about why he's there to begin with, but also the kind of friction between him and Wanda because he's not really her brother. And that also gives him the opportunity to work in one capacity and her to work in a different capacity and not expect them to be like with each other all the time, because they're not really brother and sister. But I don't know. All I know is I'm disappointed in the stories that I wrote in my own head. But as far as what was actually on the screen, if I would have just, turned my brain off and enjoyed the show the whole time without trying to fanfic everything, I would be totally satisfied.
Yeah, I mean, if they put us in a position where we went for like a year and a half with no new content, people are going to be, writing what they hoped the show was going to be about. I think that, we're kind of, hopefully, it looks like we're on a roll from here on out. We're going to be getting new content every month, basically. If we play our cards right, we got Falcon and the Winter Soldier starting up. Black Widow is supposed to be coming out in May. You have Loki starting in June. That we have the Hawkeye series coming out. Miss Marvel's coming out. I think I want to say there's one more.
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion. Like, there's a lot of shows that are going to be coming out over the course of the next year and a half or so. So we have a lot of content out there. People should, and I'm going to go ahead and write my own script for them all.
Right. And we are going to write our own scripts for these things and bring them to you.
Yeah.
Where you will take them as fact and go and tell your friends at work that you heard from a knowledgeable person on the internet that this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, hey, what happened? Where's Professor X? Your internet friends don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Then you just say, like, ask your mom where Professor X is at.
All right. We are still giving away this Wanda Funko Pop. We will be announcing the winner next week. Okay. Jerry just grabbed Wanda's boob in that picture.
It's a hex.
Oh my, it's a hex. I lost my train of thought. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on social media, and that'll do it from us. This is pretty much our last WandaVision content. So thank you, WandaVision. It has been a fun ride. Be good. Be good to each other.
Stay nerdy.
Later, nerds.